have this problem that every day I feel like I'm going to be able to accomplish so much more than I'm actually capable of doing. Because everything takes so long and there's also so much crazy shit that's happening all the time and it's nonstop and it's only escalating. Like it's the 12th of January today and it feels like an entire year has passed. And by the way, Trump hasn't even been in office for even a full year at this point. And it's January 12th and we've already kidnapped the president in a country in another continent, killed over 80 people down there. How many nations have we bombed at this point in the Trump presidency? At least 8. So they're doing that. They're also still genociding the Palestinian people. That's still ongoing. And they are assaulting Lebanon. In southern Lebanon, they're being bombed relentlessly. And that's going to only escalate. And now they are instituting or attempted to institute a color revolution in Iran. Mossad has completely infiltrated the country. The messaging that they're putting out apparently is that they want freedom. There are legitimate grievances within that country, of course, just like every other country on the planet of this earth. However, Iran has suffered tremendously under sanctions by the United States, and Trump said it himself that he wanted to inflict maximum pressure sanctions onto Iran. So to have any conversation without addressing that is completely disingenuous and not really truthful at all, because the American people, the imperialist forces have made it their stated aim to inflict the most suffering possible on the Iranian people. And this is their playbook every time. They can't really engage in these hot wars in the same fashion that they were able to before mass media and especially social media, because the people don't support it. The people do not support, the American people do not support you just going to another country and bombing the shit out of them. So that's why they do it in these other ways now. And an essential part of that in carrying out the takeovers of the countries are with sanctions and to make people suffer so much that there's so much internal strife, so much internal suffering that people can't really it's not suffering in the way that you can pinpoint, like the American regime is the one that bombed my family. It's not the same. So that's why they do it in that way, and they destroy the country in that way, especially the economic system, and then make it rife for, carrying out what's next, whatever phase comes next in their regime change operation. And that's what it's about. They want Iran's resources. They want to take over the country and take back all of those resources that they lost. The British were extremely angry when Iran kicked them out of the country and nationalized their oil in the 50s. So much so that the British went to the Americans and were like, can you help us? Like, we need to get our oil back. And that's what they did. The Americans, Eisenhower, and the CIA, that's what they did. So that's what they're doing in Iran right now, and we will see what's next. It sure appears that they're going to start bombing them again, and it's really sad because nobody deserves, there's no justification for that. There's no justification for any of this, but all of this is about resources and the billions of dollars that they spend on propaganda, especially social media. This is the most important part of their imperial strategy now, is through social media, and to convincing especially the American people that we're going there to help people get democracy and human rights. This is their playbook every single time. The American regime, American imperialism, will never do any of that for anywhere else in the world. They don't do that for their own people. So why would anyone believe that the United States or Israel would be capable of that anywhere else, or that's what they would ever even want? Their whole aim everywhere, in Venezuela, in Iran, in Syria, and Lebanon, and Palestine, et cetera, is resource extraction from precious minerals, from oil and gas, from the people, their water, their food, everything. So we'll see what happens. It's really wild though. This presidency, I don't know. It's like we're literally living through the end of times right now. Like they are we going to be in nuclear war soon? Because that's what people need to wake up, like, to what's the truth of what's happening. This is next level. But anyways, I went to the nurse strike this morning, and I didn't get a chance to finish all these videos that I took last week at the Brooklyn courthouse, which I'm going to do this week because I wanted to finish all these articles that I wrote about Jeffrey Epstein and Mount Sinai. And it's like everything's always worse than you could ever imagine. Like once you start like looking into it. I mean, what we are able to find online and what the press is putting out usually is kind of just barely scratching the surface. There's always, if these are the pieces of information that are available to us, you know, from CNN or MSNBC or whatever, it's like, if that's what's actually available, like think of how much worse and how much more is beneath the surface. Oh my God. But yeah, so that's why I got behind on everything, because I wanted to finish. I mean, it's really like a canon at this point of, I don't know, like the whole trying to explain to people like the way they're not just profiting off of our sickness and our health and death and disease. They're creating this within us. And one of the major pieces of all of this is cancer. Cancer is something that is being imposed on us. They are giving us cancer. They're giving us cancer through poisoning us in every single way that they can possibly think of. And it's I mean, as we see, cancer is morphing into, it's conjoining with AI. It's transhumanist, and all of these billionaires who, I don't think billionaire is even the correct term anymore. Billionaire is like way too nice at this point. I don't know what is appropriate. I know that that's not it. But they are all obsessed with cancer. And why? So anyways, like that's what I wrote about in the articles, and I'll like make another video. But when I was at the courthouse the other day, it's so sad. And all of this is deeply connected to the colonization, not just in Palestine, all over the world. This is happening all over the world. Like everywhere, as we see right now. Like they're burning down Argentina for, like, who's doing it? It's like Israelis. What does that even mean? I don't think that's the correct term either. Like, who are these people? Are they people? There are questions. Anyways, speaking of Israelis and speaking of people, all this ICE shit. What is it? Like 50% of these guys like were serving in the IOF and you know, mass murdering Palestinians. If that's not part of the conversation that you're having about ICE, you're completely missing the entire conversation, the entire point. And your analysis is quite literally completely useless, because they've already colonized. I mean, they've already taken over the United States. They're doing this in so many different ways, but ICE is one of the main parts of it. If you can't address what's happening in Palestine and what Israel is doing over there, then like, I don't care what the fuck you have to say. Like, you are, I don't know, you're like part of the Imperial project. But what are they doing? They're putting in these like massive data centers all over the country. They're stealing land, they're stealing properties, they're stealing homes all across the country, all over the world. kicking people out of their homes, putting them on the street, putting them into these homeless shelters. You know, the case that I went to the other day of this, there's so many like home theft cases here in New York. It's like, it's quite literally impossible to keep track of everything. And there's no way that anyone could. It's happening at such a massive scale, it's systematic, and it's not just, oh, these are criminal developers that are doing this. It's that the entire political establishment is aware and or in on it, but the entire like judicial system, like criminal justice system, they are part and parcel of this. They are the reason why this is happening. A lot of these judges, district attorneys, I'm sure the attorney general, like all of them must be getting paid off in at least one way, possibly many ways. So when I was at court the other day, this is the Brooklyn Supreme Court, and it's this super corrupt judge that, you know, is doing this to a lot of these victims who are predominantly Black and brown. And that judge is a Black woman, by the way. So it's you don't need to be a white person to be inflicting this terrorism and this white supremacy and structural racism. And it's beyond that at this point. It's not, those terms are not even failing to encompass what the true issue is. But, you know, she's getting paid off. But yeah, so that story is really sad, because all of these stories are sad because they target the elderly, they target vulnerable people, and that story is what, and I'll show the footage from that after I finish talking. But it's devastating. It's destroying their lives, and these people don't care. They don't care to throw like 70, 80-year-olds out onto the street. They don't care. They are demons. And even the Black female judge, she doesn't care. She's getting paid. They're all getting paid. And actually, when I was there, there's so much happening all the time. And it's like, at this point in my like media career, it's like people are constantly like, you know, giving me tips or telling me, oh, you need, and it's like, I'm hearing all of this awful shit all the time. And it's like, I don't have the capacity to look through all of, you know, these leads or whatever it may be. And by the way, I basically have never been paid for any of this. Not that I say that just to make the point that it's like many of these liberal outlets, and especially liberal independent outlets that people are watching, like the Medius, I don't know how you pronounce it. These guys, I'm sure, are like super well funded and have massive platform, and it's literally just they love talking about ICE and Trump, but it's like they can't talk about Israel. They're all Zionists, and people are listening to them as if that they're giving them real news. No, they're not. You're missing the entire point of the conversation. All of these issues that they're giving us, like ICE and LGBT and abortion and like sex positivity, all these things that liberals and Democrats care about, or that they give us these issues like to, you know, hitch our wagon to and be really passionate about. It's like there is so much more to the conversation than what they are speaking about. They're making these, you know, single issues. They're not single issues. There's so much more behind what they're giving us. And I mean, when you're looking at them as single issues, as these outlets do, then it's literally just a waste of time and energy and space and I don't know, everything. But what was I saying? Oh, so when I was there at court that day, she used to be a Brooklyn prosecutor, but now I guess she's working as a private attorney and, you know, I don't know, like trying to make money doing, they make a lot of money, by the way, attorneys, especially in New York. I think a lot of them are charging at least, like, on the cheap side, they're charging them like $400 an hour. That's crazy. But anyways, so this woman, I don't know what her rates are. I'm not saying any of that, but she like really wanted to talk to me and like was like, oh, I'm going to show you like how they're doing this deed theft. Like they have an antiquated system in Brooklyn, Kings County, where anyone can just go into the deed record book and white out the name in there with whiteout and just write their name on. And then that gets updated into the electronic system. She said anyone can do this because when I went to look on something for my deed of my house, like I was like, wow, it's really this easy to steal someone's home. And so she's like wanted to take me to show me. And then like in the elevators and like running around, like, you know, this place is a maze, by the way. Like, yeah, that's another story. But we were running around. She's like, ask me anything, and telling me about how all this works and who's in on it, who's corrupted, da, da, da. And I was like, how, like, literally tell me like specifically how is this working? And she's like, it's about money. And I'm like, well, I know it's about money, but like, how is it actually happening? Like, are they getting an envelope? Like, she's like, no, like that's too messy. Like cash, you have to deposit. If I want to do something for you, then, you know, how would it feel for me to pay off your children's tuition or your, you know, private school or whatever? Like that's something that like is not on the book. There's no record of this. It's going to be hard for anyone to figure out that somebody else is paying for your kids' private school tuition, which is what, like $40K a year. And I mentioned something like, oh, well, I guess like if you're able to be corrupted and like if you're able to be bought. And she's like, well, like, tell me that you're not able to be bought if someone comes to you and is like, I'm going to pay off all of your student loans. You see one of those apartments in downtown Brooklyn, how would you be able to say no if I told you that I would pay for that for your entire life, that you would never have to pay for a place to live ever again? Would you be able to say no? That's how these things are happening. So so then after this court case of this judge, this completely corrupted judge that is in the, I didn't see any of this, but this is what the victims and the allies and the group told me, is this judge was literally like threatening this family, that she does everything off of the record, off of like without a court reporter, which like I don't understand how they're able to do this. Like how are they getting away with this? It's literally just, these courts are like worse than kangaroo courts. It's just like there's nothing about law or what's legal or what's not. They're the mob. This is the mob. The Brooklyn courts and probably all New York courts. It's the mob. And she brought this elderly woman, and it's her family. This home has been in her family for at least 80 years. Brings them into her back chambers. This is how this judge does it a lot, I guess. Her name's Robin Shears. Brings them into the back chamber. So everything's off record. There's no witnesses to what's happening. And she's like telling this elderly woman who's had this home for over 80 years that she basically needs to get the fuck out. And that she's lost her home. And like threatening her of like, oh, if you don't do this, then like you're gonna have consequences. That's what the judge said to her. So they spoke afterwards. This woman I loved speaking to her. I think she's like 74, and she's so wise. She had her grandfather was indigenous from like a indigenous tribe around the Delaware area. And they've been in the neighborhood. They've had that home for 80 years. And there's just so much history and like so much knowledge and so much wisdom. And, that's what these guys want to completely destroy. So they spoke and had the press conference. And it's literally such a perfect, like, it's not even symbolism. Like, this is not symbolism. They did this on purpose. They have Christopher Columbus statue right in the front of the Brooklyn Supreme Court. They love stealing Black people's homes and the indigenous people's property and everything so much. They love it so much. This is literally like, this is their culture. This is their culture. And when I say they, it's just, everyone that's doing this. Like I don't even know who's they anymore. I don't know. Like this is their culture so much that they have Christopher Columbus in front of the courthouse. And during like the George Floyd time, so that was like 2020 when they murdered George Floyd, New York City like deployed NYPD to literally 24/7 cop watch all of these Christopher Columbus statues. At least I'm aware that they have one in Central Park. They have one at Columbus Circle, obviously a massive one, and then the one in front of the Brooklyn courthouse. They put up like barricades, and they have like they had like police cars there 24/7, police officers there 24/7 guarding these statues. That's what our tax dollars pay for, in part. So let me just play the footage from last week, and hopefully I'll get caught up on everything soon, and hopefully we don't enter into world war. What world war is this at this point? Like I don't think 3 is the right number.
Right, this is a good picture right now. And here we are in front of Christopher Columbus statue, who is the #1 colonizer.
Right.
He came in and said it's his, and he had nothing to do with it being here. But these people, they come from Long Island in their car and want to tell me I should move. Move where? Where am I supposed to? Where's my family supposed to go?
Absolutely.
And here I am. Look at me. I am supposed to be in the winter of my life and being comfortable.
Absolutely.
And I can't, because I have to constantly be dealing with this situation. And these people who are very comfortable
in their lives.
Well, I don't really wish for them to be very comfortable in their lives or in their mental capacity, because what would you do? My question is, what would you do if it was your mother?
Absolutely.
Or your grandmother being put out of their home?
Illegally. Unlawfully.
Illegal, unlawful.
Fraudulent.
And to feel good about it. And they come and they feel good about it.
Yeah.
How would you, if it was your mother, how would you feel? If it was your grandmother, how would you feel?
Absolutely.
This is our home. This has been our home for over 80 years. And I know my grandparents worked very hard to get it. And just for somebody to
Steal it.
because he is greedy. Because he is greedy. He is not like he wants to live there. He wants to throw us out, do it over, and see how much money he can make out of it. And money isn't everything.
So today we're here in the court being denied due process again. The Doyle family is fighting to prove the fraud on their property in front of Judge Robin Shears, who has ruled against them in the past, and now they're back before Shears Court again. We want to highlight something that we've been saying about Judge Robin K. Shears for the longest. She violates all of the rules and procedures of the courtroom. She denies people due process to hide what it is that she's saying so that it's not on the record. She ensures that there are no court reporters for the proceedings, even when it has been requested. Today's case was supposed to be a hearing and not a conference. And what Judge Shears did was, when the Doyle family shows up with witnesses in the courtroom to witness her proceed on the bench on a case that is on appeal in the appellate court that has been documented before her as fraud, she goes forward with the case anyway. But another part of this situation is the Attorney General's office. The Attorney General appears and goes along with the process, not as the officers of the court who understand the canon and the way they're supposed to operate in a courtroom, allows Shears to operate off the record with no court reporter. This is a denial of due process. To bully the respondents and to assert herself in ways that, if she was found to do this on the record, would be unethical. So now here we have again an order being produced by the court with no documentation of what happened. How do we appeal something that doesn't even exist? And so we are sick and tired of what is happening, and it's time for us to launch a petition to get Robin K. Shears off the bench. There is enough judicial complaints against her for her to be removed, and we're demanding that something be done about her today. We're not leaving this court today without putting in complaints about what we experienced with her taking the case off of the record and denying the public to have access to a court hearing. Hearings are not private. They're not private. It's public. And the fact that she keeps doing this is a serious, serious problem.
Well, I would like to reinforce everything that was said previously. We were given a date to come in. It was a private situation. It wasn't with a lawyer. My lawyer wasn't there. I was told
To hear the case anyway.
that there was a case. There was nobody recording anything that went on in front of the judge and the other lawyer that was there for, who are they?
For the
Arlo,
For the plaintiff.
they didn't have the plaintiff. But it was just, for me, another way to use a bullying technique that was
Absolutely.
used. And then while it was given, she declared an order that has to be met by next week. And I have to include the opposition in the process. And I refuse. I still refuse. I was told that there will be consequences if I do not meet the order.
Wow. So unfair.
What do they mean by consequences?
Whatever
She has to
consequences they
plaintiff
deem.
on her insurance policy.
I think this
Yeah.
is also retaliation on the part of Shears. She knows that we are the People's Coalition to Stop D-Theft. We have adamantly and consistently been highlighting how she operates in her courtroom. And so for her to threaten people who have not shown her any signs of disrespect or any hostility in her courtroom, and to talk about consequences if her orders are not met, it's her using her chambers as a type of bully pulpit, okay, she would not dare talk that way on the bench. And so she takes everything off the bench and runs in her chambers, denies people due process, and this is constantly something that she does, right? And so it's time for her to be checked. And we're gonna make sure before we leave today that we put in our complaints with Jeannie Edwards, who is the administrative judge over this court.
One thing I do want to say too is that she tried to make it very clear to me that I have lost. My home does not belong to me.
That you
That
have to
these
include them on
people-
your policy.
These people have the right to do whatever they do to get full control.
And this
And
is,
she assisting them with that.
and the bigger
process.
problem too is that the Attorney General's office has this case under their jurisdiction. You know, I'm concerned at how these proceedings are going forth, right? With the Attorney General's office appearing and not ensuring that this family is protected while there is an ongoing investigation. It's an ongoing investigation, so how are rulings dropping, right? How are these things being allowed to occur when it is clear that this case is under the investigation of the Attorney General's office? So everything here is corrupt, right? And we keep saying that we believe that this is a crime syndicate, right? That everyone is operating together.
It is. It's
Organized crime.
Shears, although she is on the bench and the AG's office is there, her and Letitia James are a part of the same caucus, right? They supported her for judge. They put her on the bench. And so this is not something of where this is, people are operating independently. There are relationships here, right? There are networks here. There are attorneys here. There are notaries here. And they're ensuring that this family does not get justice. And we have a serious problem with this, and we're not gonna shrink back. We're gonna continue to document, we're gonna continue to agitate, and we're gonna continue to organize around this issue.
The AG actually never made a notice of appearance onto the case. As a lawyer, she has to file a notice of appearance if she's truly filing documents that are found in the case management internal system. And it's very disturbing that the AG did not admit what literally every lawyer admits, that there's two systems going on, NICIF and CourtNet. She says she doesn't know CourtNet when literally every lawyer knows CourtNet. It's on the internet. There's two systems going on. And CourtNet is full of falsified documents that are changed after they're filed into NICIF. And in this case in particular, the documents are being changed, many of them, after they're filed into NICIF at all hours of the days and night. And the same is happening in their appellate court case. The record of appeal, the appellant's brief, and the reply brief have all been changed after they were filed into NICIF. And the properties of the documents is Fraud 101. The properties of the documents are showing that they're being changed after they're filed. And the judges are getting the falsified version that's kept in the court internal case management system, which is CourtNet, which includes CourtNet. So fraud is all around this, and there's no way the AGs don't know CourtNet. There's no way they don't know they need to make a notice of appearance before they're filing documents if they really want to be on the case. And so this is from beginning to end, this is fraud.
Another part of this is the fact that they have what is called the HOP program, which is supposed to provide financial assistance, legal assistance to people who are experiencing deed theft, mortgage fraud. However, the system is not working, right? There are no lawyers that are really taking these cases. And so it puts the victims at a severe disadvantage, showing up to court without legal representation. Now, the Attorney General knows this case, right? Could have made sure that this family has legal representation so that they can move forward properly on the record, and that everything that needs to be followed in the court process is being followed. And that is not happening. And it's unconscionable that a judge can basically signal to people who are fighting for their property that basically you lost it.
Are you able to speak to the impact that this situation has had on you and your family?
Wow.
Yes, that's important.
The impact is, well, devastating in a way. because it works on not only your health,
Nerves, your emotional system,
your
physical
emotions,
system. It's just draining, overwhelming.
even your connection within your family,
Absolutely.
where you need support, not just mental, physical support, but you need
Absolutely.
financial support, and not everybody is in a position of doing that. So he's showing me that there's no value in my life, in my home, with my family, that we have no value. Only they. Now I'm seeing more of them. So in one of my crazy minds is, are they preparing for something? Because they have these little tank cars.
Right.
What are they preparing for?
Right. Wow, I didn't think about that.
People always
They're-
have some ulterior motive.
Always.
I watched this movie the other day,
Which one?
Substance.
Okay.
Substance
Check it out.
with Demi Moore. It was weird. But I think in looking at it in a big picture kind of way, it was dealing with people's perception of themselves and how they want the eternity of being beautiful. And what are they willing to sacrifice to get it?
Yeah.
And then the reaction of the general population to that transformation, which in the end, she just ended up dust in order to maintain, or this version of herself to maintain its beauty. They also had to maintain the source. And after a while, the beautiful one wanted to be beautiful all the time and neglected the source till the source was no longer there. And then when she tried to create a new source, she ended up just a blob. Mess.
Wow.
Again, that ended up in dust, in the air. Age is something you can't, you're not getting away from that. How do you want to age? But I also go through the thing that they are showing us things all the time under the guise of entertainment. But people take it as entertainment and not really seeing the message. Get us ready.
Yeah.
They get us ready. For a while, a movie that has been in my mind is Soylent Green. Which is
Soylent Green?
Soylent Green.
Okay.
It was with Charlton Heston. This is probably from, I don't know, 70s?
Wow.
1970s. But it was where there was no food.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But
And now they have the Soylent.
the Soylent, but the Soylent was made up of, rather than put you in the graveyard, they transformed you into a source of food.
Oh, yeah. Jesus. It's pretty sick.
So they've been working on our brains with these things for a long time.
Swear.
For a long time.
Unsubscribe.
And again, we accept it as things like entertainment. It's also to have us in a kind of comatose kind of state where we are accepting things as being normal, but are they really? With their phone. Playing games on their phone, not really using the phone as a form, well, I guess, yes, as a form of communication, but then what is the things on the phone communicating to your brain?
Right. These are the things that I think about too. So.
Don't mind that. I think about them all the time.
Yeah.
On my father's side, yeah, he was indigenous people. He grew up in Delaware area, so the Delaware Indians, that on the East Coast. But again, well, and his parents were sharecroppers. So, ancestry, history goes back. My grandparents on my mother's side, they were from the Caribbean. And they came and they worked hard. They worked very hard to get a home for their family. Grandfather, he has been passed since the 50s. He passed. And he had to go through the whole thing of, because of his color, could not get jobs that would equate with his skills that he had. The life we live. But they worked hard and they saved and they purchased the home.
So, your story and what's happening right now is, it seems like it's not much different to what was happening to your, forefathers, your grandparents.
Well, this is a constant. The only change is that the tactics used. The tactics they use to do what they do in the name of being, I don't even know what the name of it is, but they are colonizers and they continue to colonize. It might be a different approach this time, but it's the same thing. As I would say, even in the community, even the block I lived on, there were white people on the block. Over the years, they moved to Long Island. They moved out. So Caribbean people have this thing about having a home, so they were buying homes. They were buying their homes and doing the work. So now, those that have families to keep the possessions, keep the possessions. Those that don't have lost their possessions. Like I say, I have a neighbor, he passed, he was 106 years old. And he passed. He had no children. I mean, he has family, but now who's to know what will happen to his home?
Right. That's my question.
I can't say. I know he has family, but the family has never really been in Brooklyn. So, we will see. You know what I'm saying? And see if the greedy people want that house I know, he has never really done any major renovations or anything, so it is close to almost original. And that's, I think, one of the things with this sucker is the house that we are in is very close to original with the...
When was your house built? Do you know?
That was originally built probably in the 18-somethings, because I had a neighbor used to live across the street. There was a brother and two sisters, but when they died, nobody claimed the house, and the house had been boarded up for a long time. When the house was finally purchased and opened, there were things in there from the Civil War.
Wow.
They had items in there from the Civil War, trunks, clothes. So this is I understand why they want it. It is a community with a lot of history, and not that they will do anything with that history because they don't really care about that. Just like what they do with the community. They don't really care about the history of the community. They just care about what tax breaks I could get, how much money can I get. Continually repeated.
Tactics change.
Continue repeat. Yeah, just really just send out the name, and I will check out who's. But sitting there in the office, it's like